Hey guys, welcome to a brand new video to our channel Nash and Teresa, and today we wanted to share with you a story about the time we went to China a few years back. And wow, that was just one of the most insane experiences we've had in our life. Like the culture, the food, and with some pretty high moments and some very low moments during our time there. So we thought we'd tell you this story of how that went, and if you are planning to go there in the future, maybe it can give you some inspiration and know what to expect.
Okay, so we went in year 2016, and the plan was that we will go first Shanghai, then we will go by train to Xi'an, and then we ended in Beijing, from where we went back home. And that's exactly what happened. Back then in 2016, it was a bit different type of world. There was not as much vloggers vlogging these places, so we were not sure what to expect. And also the language was quite a barrier for us because everything was mostly in Chinese.
Yeah.
And because internet there was super controlled. There's most of the applications you normally use, like navigation or social media, internet, Google, they were all forbidden. So we had to sort of find a way around it. We had lots of papers, lots of printed maps. And then we also downloaded, because there was usually no data, we downloaded, I think there was an offline map.
Yeah, with everything planned in advance.
You have to everything planned in advance because there is no internet, and actually life without internet and traveling without it is super challenging.
Yeah, that was before there was the people like Food Ranger and Mark Wayans who started the travel vlogging. So it was just completely brand new experience. So when we arrived, what was your first impression? What did you think?
So the first impressions when we came out was we came from metro, because the airport led straight to metro. When we came out, there was it was a street full of leftover foods, and especially chicken bones. I was dragging a huge suitcase because I planned that I will do all these Insta pictures, so I did so many outfits, and a huge suitcase which I was dragging behind, trying to roll over these bones and stuff. And it was so humid. It was so insanely humid. That day was like 50 degrees. It was crazy. And then the smell, it was intense first experience.
Yeah.
I did not expect that.
Yeah, and for me, as soon as I got out of the airplane, the first thing I saw was someone blowing their nose with mucus and then just wiping with their hands and then wiping it off their clothes. And I was like, oh, new world. And then there was another person who was spitting on the floor, and that was like, oh,
there was lots of spit on the floor.
Lots of spit, lots of spitting. Yeah, and what you're saying, I totally agree with you that it was super humid, because I wasn't expecting that. We went in the peak of summer, and because of the heat and how China is with this smoke, I think somehow it just keeps the moisture all around. And within 5 minutes of stepping outside, my t-shirt was completely soaking, it was completely wet, it was just insane.
It was hard to breathe as well.
Yeah.
So the humidity, I think, was number one. And then of course the street was not so clean. I think we were unlucky because we stepped into, I think, the less clean street, which led to our first hotel. But I think, yeah, it was a strong impression.
Yeah, we went for the cheap hotel. We was traveling on a budget. It
was very much budget, yeah. Because we were actually considering to go to Japan first, but because it was too expensive, we chose China. But even China was very expensive for us. So yeah, so that was first impression for me.
Yeah, and then once we got to the metro and then we went to our first hotel, that was the one with the round bed. It looked like a hotel where it's not just for sleeping. I'll put some pictures up for you.
It was very interesting. I think it was quite high, like it was not ugly, but it was interesting, even placement, because in front of the, I remember when it was, I think, first or second floor, and when you open the drains, there was like wires right in front of your window, cables and electric wires, and people were just hanging clothes on it to dry, which I find very unsafe. But that was like right in front of your windows, and the bathroom in the room was in the room. Like it was a glass door. It was actually I think there were drapes again, and you could see everything, you could hear everything, and you could smell everything. So you can imagine.
Yeah, and in China, the intriguing thing is that they don't have like a normal flushing system of water. So when you go toilet, you cannot put the tissues in the drainage because that's gonna 100% block. So there's like always these notes saying after you use tissue for anything, number one or number two, put it in the bin next to you, close the bin. So you can imagine as you are staying in there or sleeping in there for 1 day, 2 days, that smell starts to circulate in the room, and then with the humidity.
Yeah. And there was air conditioner, but it just wasn't a well ventilated room. So that was our first. I think we were there for 3 or 4 nights. But safe to say we were very busy, so we were there only to sleep. And during the whole day we were outside.
It's not the worst hotel we stayed in. I'll tell you about the one later. This was actually, I would say, average. It was
quite clean.
Yeah, it was clean.
It was clean.
Except for the toilet situation, it was clean, so that was good.
Yes.
So in our stay in Shanghai, I think that was actually the better city if you compare Shanghai versus Beijing, because you have these huge skyscrapers. You have the Bund, I think it's called the Bund, I forgot the name, where it's the
it's like
a skyline,
sort of island. Yeah.
In front of the water with the boats passing through, and this is actually a very popular place because that's where there's a lot of time lapses where you see the lights flashing on the building and the boats coming through with the lights. So that was really, really cool, and I absolutely loved it. And the thing is, in this place every evening there's a lot of people who come there because to take pictures.
It's a mass of people who come there. Like you actually go in queues and it was
yeah. So every time we were taking selfies, you sort of have to over someone's head
which we found later on is normal, even in any type of queue or waiting for metro, people are just rough.
Yeah, we're rough. But I think that was just outstanding. When you go for the night show, that's just amazing. And even in the afternoon, I was just mind blown by that place. And the other place which we went was the aquarium. There was also lots of people there. They had sharks, they had turtles.
When Nash took me there, I was expecting this aquarium is a huge hall with just glass and water and fish. And then we entered and it was a tiny tunnel going down the hill underground. And you get stuck into tiny tunnel. I am tall, so I was literally almost reaching up the ceiling. And you are stuffed in there with other people all the way until the end of the tour. So that was very tiny. It was made for small people, I think.
Yeah, but I actually loved it because of the variety of fishes and jellyfish.
Yeah, there was sharks. Nice. It was, you get satisfied. It was just very tiny. I think I took a pill because I'm scared of small spaces and not claustrophobic, but sort of. And also the movement and everything. So I took this pill to help me go through it.
Yeah, it was stuffy.
It was challenging, but nice selection of fishes.
Yeah, and then after we finished this aquarium, that was when we first experienced our street food.
You did, I did.
Yeah. As you come out, you can buy food. So I bought this squid thing where they put on a stick. It was marinated, and that was my first case of diarrhea in China. So that didn't end too well. I managed to go to the toilet, but that was not very glamorous.
But you could tell though. I could tell by the smell and how it looked like it's not gonna be glamorous.
Yeah, but I thought
it wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't glamorous.
Starbucks was our #1 go-to place.
Yeah.
And they had also toilets, very nice toilets, and they were not paid. So I think that's where we ran straight after.
Yeah, thank God for Starbucks. Yeah.
Also interesting thing in the shopping mall was actually toilets. There was normal toilets, but because in China in general they prefer to do this, I don't know,
squatting.
Air
squatting.
Yeah, air squatting toilets.
Onto all in the floor.
All in the floor, and they do themselves really nicely. And this shopping mall, or few shopping malls, they have normal toilets, which we're used to in Europe. And there are signs do not like climb the toilet and squat on the toilet on the seat. I found that quite funny.
I wonder why.
Yeah, I think some people are very traditional, so they climb up the toilet. Yeah, that was funny. Another thing about shopping malls is whenever you enter any type of shop in there, they always greet you. We forgot the word. But
I think they said mori mori or something like that.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was like, it's always these girls who are like in front and then they do like this.
The saleswomen.
Yeah, this trained greetings, like they all say the same thing at the same time.
I know when we came back here, I was actually so used to it that I was greeting in big shops. There was no one to greet me, but I was just greeting in shopping malls people like when I entered. So that was quite polite. I like that.
Yeah, and Shanghai had so many shopping malls, as Teresa was saying. That's where we actually spend a lot of time eating, like the eating out, and the food was pretty good, and we were eating a lot of noodles.
I loved the noodles.
Yeah.
There was this best dish which was noodles with pork ribs and okra. It was my first time trying okra and I absolutely loved it. It was yummy. It was so yummy. So that was, I think, one of my number one dishes. Yeah.
And for me, my favorite dish was more probably like the braised pork, which is like the
pork belly, I think.
Pork belly, yeah, which they braise in like tomato stew, and then they were using something called the star anise, so it's like a spice which looks like a star. So that was one of the main key ingredients they were using in their food. The
flavor was different. I would say that the best about Chinese dishes in general is the texture. That's number one, and then obviously flavor and the spices they use. It's so different. It's not overwhelming spice. It's not overpowering, but it's just different. I loved that flavor. Everything had sort of sweet hint. I think that's the star spice.
And then the other thing which you're gonna notice also in Shanghai was that when you go outside at night around 5 o'clock to maybe 12 o'clock at night, these groups of elder people dancing in routines. It's sort of like disco, like full on.
It's usually on a sort of square or bigger space, and you find like 20, 30 elder people who just go, men and women, and they just randomly come together. There is a small radio and they start playing this disco sort of music.
Yeah.
And these people, they are normally dressed, they look like they just came from work, and they start dancing their routine, super synchronized. And yeah, that's like on every corner there. And Nash spent the hours just recording. I was so tired of it.
Yeah. Sorry if we're gonna put the video up. Sorry that it's gonna be shaky because that was before we started vlogging, so we had shaky hands.
Yeah, every footage we took was a disaster.
Yeah. But the dancing was just insane, and they were inviting me to dance as well, but Teresa didn't have the patience to allow me to go to.
Because it was 1 hour of recording. I think they noticed that he's a big fan. but that was interesting. I think it's their cultural sort of socializing way. It was never young people though. I think young people preferred clubbing, but this is
Yeah, that was the older generation.
Yes.
And then the other thing which we also observed was people enjoyed taking pictures of us.
And with us. Yeah.
Yeah, I was called Michael Jordan, and they called you an actor. I forgot which actor.
Angelina Jolie.
Angelina Jolie and Michael Jordan.
Angelina Jolie, I don't think I have anything in common, like not even one thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, Angelina Jolie and yeah.
Yeah.
So we were taking pictures like celebrities, and sometimes with our children, and sometimes when they were shy, when we were sitting in the metro, you could see someone like this with the camera, like
Like
click,
click,
picture. Yeah. It was funny. Yeah, but sometimes you're like so tired, and then people just kept coming, and they are like so happy that they can take picture with you.
Yeah.
It was tiring. Sometimes we just said, no, it's enough.
Yeah, it was tiring. Because once you start taking pictures,
There's more and more
people. You end up with a line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're like, okay, this couple wants to take a picture with us, so you end up with a line of people. So it's better to just get it quickly done.
There was a point where we were thinking we would charge money for it.
Yeah.
It was like, we were hungry all the time with not much money, so we were thinking we can make money, but we didn't end up to.
So that was Shanghai in a nutshell. So on our last day, we decided to have a bit of a celebratory meal. So we decided to go Pizza Hut, to remind us of what home is like, what the West is like, And oh my gosh, I got so sick. Considering it's Pizza Hut, it was just basic pizza with cheese, with, I think I went for like some meats and stuff like that. And I got like the worst area as well. Oh my god.
It was bad. We were close to some shopping mall, luckily.
Yeah, it was opposite the train station, but we wanted to get a train.
Yeah. And it was last minute run.
God, that was the worst, like one of my worst experience, because to quickly go to the toilet. And this is a pro tip for you guys: always go with tissues in your bag.
Oh, we walked with tissues. That was lucky.
Yeah, because in these malls they don't have tissues most of the time, and I read that when shopping malls put tissues in the toilet, the people from the villages or the villagers, they come in, they steal the tissues and take them home, because they are actually a luxury for majority of people. And the other way they are protecting tissues is by some automated machine where it gives you just a limited number of tissues and it scans your face, so you don't take more. Yeah, so always roll with your own tissues. Yeah. So that was a super bad experience for me.
Yeah, like surprisingly, I have sensitive stomach, but I didn't really get sick from any food I ate in China. But there was one thing we noticed straight after we actually arrived to Shanghai, and that was the water there.
Yeah.
The water, we were told that never buy water in store because it still contains these chemicals and minerals they have in their water. So we were told to buy only specific type in pharmacies. We did, and yet we still got sick. The flavor was like water. I don't think it was that much different.
It was acidic sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah, like the pH is off.
Yeah, you can tell it's a little bit different, but I wouldn't say it's bad. But then our stomachs were very, very funny most of the time. Yeah,
every time we drank water, we always had a stomach ache, which lasted maybe an hour. So it's difficult because it's super hot, you're dehydrated, you have to drink water, but you are getting a stomach ache on top of the water.
We didn't get used to it actually until the end.
We always
we never got used to it. I think the food we got used to it, but the water no. So carry tissues with you.
So after the toilet incident, we decided to take our train to go to our next stop, which was Xi'an.
Everything about our trip was just perfect up to this point, but little did we know we were about to go through some things which would really shock anyone who's visiting China. In the second part of this story, we're gonna tell you how we got to the lowest point of our trip, and that we're even considering to just cut our trip short and just go straight home. So make sure you subscribe and push that bell notification so you do not miss the final part of our story.